to another up close video. So today's one, I've got a load of different Papercuts dies that have been released relatively recently, and I've made a few samples with them all, so I thought I'd just do an up close video. I haven't got the full sets of any of these die sets. There's been quite a few of them. I think there was maybe 6 and then another 9 or 10 came out after that. And I've just got a selection of the different ones. So I just thought, whilst I had some samples here to show you, I'd just quickly do this video. And all of these cards I have filmed. So there is 6 videos worth of cards here. So if you haven't seen any of them before this video, then they'll be up eventually. But just showing you a few ideas. I'm going to go do this video a little bit differently and show you the die set and then show you the sample that I've made with it, or the 2 samples that I've done with it, just to try and make it go a little bit quicker. So the first one is called the Seahorse Edger. All of the Papercuts dies are designed by Kathy Shuttleworth, and she does such gorgeous designs. Some of the Papercuts dies have multiple dies that sort of you can use to layer up and build a design, but all of these, almost all of these Papercuts dies are just one die. But even though they're just one die, there's so many pieces that you can snip out of them, or different ways of making them look different by either using them on a DL card, using a different portion of it to go on a smaller A6 kind of a card or a 5x7 card, or even using shaped dies that you have. Like, I think this would look stunning just in a circle, so you could just cut 2 circle dies together to make a frame and just have this as a little focal element on an A6 kind of card, or bring in an oval and framing the seahorse and the fishes as well. So there's loads of different things you can do with these dies, even though they're just one die in the packet. They are so versatile basically. So this is the Seahorse Edger, and this was the card that I did with this one. I did actually make 2 of these identical in the video, just because I thought I need to send this one off, but I think my nan would really like this, so I'm going to save the other one to send to her as well. And I've just used lots of different Cosmic Shimmer products and stuff to create a cool background. And the way I did the background was I used the Andy Skinner Ammonite background stamp with one of the Luster embossing powders, a peachy coloured one, and then once I'd heat embossed that, I used baked peach, I think that's what it's called, colour cloud, and inked that all over it. And then I came back in with the goldy shimmery Airless mister and sprayed that over the top as well, so it's got a little bit of mica-y, goldy, flecky stuff in the background as well. And then for the seahorse, I used my Copics to add colour to the main seahorse portion, and then I was also using a mixture of Opal polish and Opal Blaze polish to add colour to this, and then also behind the fish as well. I think I was just using an Opal polish on those ones. I think I used the peachy coloured one to do that. And then I've just used, this is actually one of the journaling stamps. I've used them a few times in videos, but I thought this kind of a sentiment is perfect for what's going on at the moment, just taking it one day at a time. So I thought that's why I wanted to send one of these to my nan. And then I balanced the black stamping from that with a couple of black reedy things coming up the side. They're from the Pink Ink Turtle stamp set, the one with the gorgeous sea turtle in. And then I've also used some of that peachy coloured Opal polish to splatter in the background as well. I just really love how that one turned out. It's so makes you feel really happy looking at it, really, with the bright. My nan doesn't actually like orange, but I think she'd appreciate this card, hopefully. If not, I'll do a one with a blue background. And I also love the adding a scattering of the different size of iridescent sequins. I feel like it just finishes off the design, and in this case it kind of looks like bubbles, so it works really well with the seahorse. So that is the Seahorse Edger. These are all edges, these ones, I think. There's one half moon one and the others are all edges, that's why they're just a single die. Then we've got the Dolphin Edger, which is more of a landscape design, and you've got a big dolphin tail here, and then you've got two dolphins, one behind each other, and you've got a couple of little fish cut into the waves at the bottom. But when I was looking at, when I was just planning my ideas for all these videos that I was doing with these dies, I also have the Feather Edger, and I was looking at these two together, and I was like, that dolphin could be jumping out of the feather, and the feather could be the sea. So in the video I did with this one, I actually combined these two together. I'm sure I'll use this one again by itself, because I do really love this dolphin design. But I just snipped out this main dolphin here. I could have snipped out both dolphins together as well, but in my mind I just wanted the one dolphin, and then I nestled him into this and created that as the sea. But this gorgeous feather one, although it's oriented this way, which is what made me think of the sea with the dolphin coming out of it, I've actually used it this way on one of them as well, and it looks equally as nice. And the way the feathers are kind of coming together, you've got sort of two coming from this direction and one coming from this direction, so you can add your sentiment in that perfect middle spot, and then you're not covering up any of the eyes of the peacock feathers, so it looks really good. So those two samples are these ones, and I was using, in the sky for this one, I used Colour Cloud, and then for the background and for the sea, so the background of this one and the sea on this one, I was using the Airless misters. I'll show you them quickly. I don't think I've picked out the right colours, one of the right colours. So I was using the purple and the teal colour that I've got. I've got purple, teal and pink to play with. But they're really cool, these Airless misters. I'm not sure if you can see. You can kind of see here. So you can see there's like a clear line there. When I got this, that was purple all the way down to the bottom, but the way the Airless mister works is it's kind of like a vacuum, and as you spray more of the ink out of the chamber, the bottom moves up, so you'll never get it sort of sloshing around in there because it's half empty, like with a normal bottle of water. You can see, you know, it's sloshing backwards and forwards. The way this works is, and the reason why you don't get clogging or the sprayer stopping because of air bubbles in the uptake tube, is because the bottom is pushing up as you'll keep spraying it. It does take a long time, a lot of sprays, to make the bottom start to come up. I'm only seeing it on my purple and my pink one so far, but if you have a look in this one, yeah, you can see it just here. That is like how much air there is. A tiny little bubble is left in, and that little valve is kind of part of this vacuum mechanism, and it's to do with that and the bottom pushing up, that creates this Airless mister kind of technology, really. And I've really been enjoying it because, you know, I think the reason why some bottles sort of do that weird cloggy thing where the sprayer stops working for a bit, even when they're just a flat colour, is because when you're spraying like this downwards, and the uptake tube comes out of the liquid as the bottle goes down. So when you're spraying this way, it starts to sputter and stuff because it's not really designed to be used downwards, it's supposed to be used upwards. But when you're crafting, obviously you want to use it downwards because you're not working at an easel the majority of the time, you're working flat onto your surface. But with this, because of the way it's the pressure of the bottom coming up, you can use it from any angle. So you could spray it upside down, you can spray it from the side, you know, from upright if you want to. If you're trying to get an awkward space, you could even spray it upside down and press the sprayer in. And the idea is as well that there shouldn't be any clogging of mica in a spray. So this one is one of the mica ones. This is Pearl Whisper. You can see the mica all settled down the bottom here, and so obviously you have to shake it, and there's a mixing ball in there to get it up into solution. But then this bottle works in the same way, and the idea is that there's not an uptake tube that can kind of get clogged, and that because it's just the vacuum kind of mechanism, it shouldn't get clogged, which is brilliant. I mean, I've only had these a week maybe. I've done an art journal page with them, and multiple backgrounds for different cards with them so far, and none of mine, you know, they've just been spraying absolutely perfectly. I've not had any clogging or anything. I've not had to wash the nozzles out. I mean, you might want to, I mean, you can see this is quite dirty here, and like with the mica ones, you might want to just wipe that just in case a particle of mica has gone over the hole. But overall, I think these are really good, and I can't wait to get some more colours to go in the collection as well. I've got 3 of the mica ones. I went for the pearl one, the gold one, and I've also got the pink one. And then I've got the purple, the blue, and the pink coloured sprays as well. So I'm sure you'll be seeing them in more of my videos coming up as well. Yeah, so I just added the dolphin coming out of the feather on this one, and you can't really tell it's a feather. It just does kind of look like a rough sea, and I tried to add on one of their white PVA pearl glues and then sprinkle on glitter, but because the spray inks that I used for the sea are water activated, the white did pick up the colour, but it gives kind of like a frosted. So I was going for white horses on the sea, but it didn't quite work how I wanted it to. If I went back over now with some more of it and added more glitter, it would stay white, and the same with the dots in the background as well. But I quite like how that one turned out. Maybe I would have done the background slightly lighter, or, you know, so it wasn't quite so almost the same tone of blue on blue, but I do quite like how it turned out. But I really love this one. So this is using the ink sprays in the background going from the blue to the purple, and you got a gorgeous deep blue as they mixed. And then the sentiment, I don't know if you can tell, yeah you can, this was actually the offcut of like the side or something where the 2 colours had mixed, and I had the offcut, but I cut the sentiment out of it, so you get that dotty sprayed edge effect on the sentiment. I wasn't sure I was going to like it, but I do really like how that turned out. And then on top of the sentiment and in the background through a stencil, look at that. That's the Opal Blaze polish that come in these little small containers. They're 7 grams in here, and this is the one that I used, the teal raspberry. I think this is one of my favourites so far. I think I've been grabbing this one the most out of all of them. But I really want to get the last few colours of these as well, because I've been really enjoying them, and they really you don't need to use too much, so they do go a long way, even though they're a small little pot. You're obviously not going to use these for thick applications. It's for sort of accenting stuff, like tapping a tiny little bit on a sentiment to really make it look luxurious. Or this one, I scooped a bit out with a palette knife, probably like a pea or a baked bean kind of size, and that did the whole background using a piece of cut and dry foam to sort of pounce it through the openings. So that was those 2, which is using a combination of the Feather Edger and the Dolphin Edger. Then I just did this one today actually. This is using the Hot Air Balloon Edger, and all of these are just one die. I haven't really been showing the die, sorry, but they're all just one die. This one is the widest one, I think. I do really love this. I think these cards turn out really nice, and you've also got a cloud that falls away, a smaller cloud, a bird, a moon, and multiple little stars as well. So this one I think is a really good one, really versatile from all the bits that fall out of it. And the way the focal element is sort of this height, you can use it portrait or landscape on a small card, you know, the kind of size I like to make my cards. So I really enjoyed making these earlier today, and again I was using the Opal Blaze polishes on the birds and on the hot air balloon and splattering it in the background, and I used luster polish on the clouds and glitter kiss on the stars and the moon and the sentiment on this one as well. So there's a video on this one as well, like all of the others in this. Some videos are a single card, one video is a single card, the others have all got like 2 in them, just to show a couple of different ways of using the same die set in one video. I think it's a good thing to show, even though I've done these the same colour, just showing how you can easily change the look of a card by just using a small portion of this die or using the length of it. Or I didn't even use the full portion of this, it goes down a tiny bit further and up further, so a 5x7 card, or you can even make it go quite nicely on a DL card. as well. So that is the hot air balloon edger. Then the last edger die is this Bumble Bee Edger. Yeah, I think the other one's called Half Moons. They don't say it on the packaging, but I think that's what they're called. So this is the Bumble Bee Edger, which I really do love this one as well. I love all of them. But this bee is so gorgeous, and it's fairly easy to snip out as well. You're just sort of disconnecting parts of the legs and around the wings and stuff. It's pretty simple to snip out. It also has a kind of edge that pops up slightly on it as well, which is really nice. And the flowers as well. I love the dotty effect that's coming out of the flowers. That's just like a tiny little extra touch, but it just adds so much to the design as well. Like, you mean you don't have to draw them on, you know, you've got that actual die cut in there as well, which I really do like. And you've also got small little bumblebees in here too, which is lovely. And again, that's just one die in this one. The next one has 4 dies, but all of those edger ones are just a single die. But look, you can easily snip the little bee out, and I just 3D'd his wings, just cut the wings again so that he's got a 3D wing element to him. The background was one of Francoise Reed's new stamp sets, vintage envelopes, something like that it's called. I'm not sure I've put the stamp set now, but it's 3 different stamps on the packaging, and it's laid out exactly like this because all I did was take the backing acetate off the set, inked it up with Versamark, stamped it on, and then heat embossed it because I really liked the layout, and I thought it would make a brilliant background just as it was. But they're all separate stamps, so you could repeat the same one 3 times down a card or something to give a cool look as well. I used one of the Cosmic Shimmer luster kind of embossing powders, and then for the colouring on this I used the pink and purple Airless misters, and also the pink Pearlescent Airless mister in there as well. And then I've just used some glitter bits on some adhesive tape down the bottom, and some of the 3D accents as well. I think it was called Vintage Plum, that one. And then to show how you can use the designs on more of a DL sized card, I wanted to show this one as well, because obviously you can do this with all of the ones that I've shown you, but I just did it for this one. And I've done same kind of idea for the background, so they're both in the same video. But this is the Shattered stamp from Andy Skinner. I just really love that sort of design. It almost looks like bullet holes or something, or little cobwebs. But I just really loved it, and I thought it would go quite nicely in the background. Use the same sprays, the same glitter bits. This sentiment, behind the sentiment, I did this first on the last card that I'll show you, and I wanted just a little piece of like tape with the glitter bits on so I could trim it neatly around the sentiment so it just had a little bit of glitter. But if you just rip off a little bit of double-sided tape, stick it down, you get a really cool rough edge. So I just trimmed all the way around that and used that as a backing, and I just think that looks so cool. It's just like something a little bit different to do. Don't make it look completely neat, make it look a little bit raggedy by ripping the edges off it. I think it looks cool. And then I just added the same drops on there as well, the little PVA 3D accents. So that is my video using the Bumble Bee Edger. And then finally I've got I think these are called Half Moons, Spring Hare set, this one. Really gorgeous again, and this has got 4 dies in it, so it has this one main element which is on like a half moon kind of a shape. This one's got toadstools and the hare jumping across it, and some like sunflowers and leaves. You've also got a separate little hare that's sitting down. You've also got the word hello, which is really gorgeous as well. And the clever thing about these dies is if you cut this out, you get the word, but the cutout is also legible as well. And then you also get a little straight die, which is used to cut this piece out of your card. Or a straight die is sometimes very useful to have if you want to cut a slot in something. But also the other idea with these die sets is because they're on a half moon that isn't cut out at the bottom, you can then cut an aperture around them and keep them in the card as well if you want to. You can do that with partial die cutting. However, I was using some double stitched rectangles, and I thought if I partially die cut that, it's going to look a bit odd that I haven't got the stitching along the bottom. So I actually just used a metal edged ruler and a craft knife and cut my aperture out that way, or you can use one of those paper trimmers that has the blade that you can place in different places rather than like a guillotine one. That would work just as well. So this is the spring hare one. I've done 2 videos on this because I wanted to show that way of using it. I'll show you that one first. Where you can trim out a frame around it and keep it as one piece. It is actually joined under there, but I've added a sentiment and you can't really tell. But it is joined under there still. And I did this one as a shaker. However, I put glitter bits in the shaker and the fine glitter has kind of covered all of the acetate, but you can kind of see my background that was behind there. I think, yes, I used some green parakeet opal polish through a stencil, one of the newest woodware stencils, and then I took the ink spray, the turquoisey coloured one, but I took a wide flat brush and I painted it across rather than spraying it across. That's how I did that. You'll be able to see that in the video. It's kind of got hidden on the real card, but in the video you'll be able to see the background that I made. You can kind of get the glitter to settle if you like tap it enough. You can kind of see it a bit more now. It just gets a little bit staticky in there, and I use glass microbeads in there too so you can hear it shaking. And for this one I kept it really simple just by using the hello, putting it on a banner. I used the blue parakeet on the hello as well because I was hoping you'd see the background more than you can, so it would match. And then this is that ripped piece of double-sided tape with the glitter bits on as well for the sentiment, and then I just added a little bit of shading to the rabbit. I think I used warm grey, 00, 02 and 3 or 1 and 3 of the Copic markers just to add a little bit of shading on him. None of the other areas, just on the hair, and then I've just used some silver star sequins to finish that one off. And then so that was one video using this one, and then the other video I've shown how, although this is like a piece like this, you don't have to use it in this kind of a more of a portrait form. Here I've cut an oval aperture using the double stitched ovals, and then I've cut into it a little bit and tucked it into the aperture so that it's sort of hanging out, just to give a different kind of look to the card. And I've used all sorts of different Cosmic Shimmer products to add. So I've got Opal Blaze in the background and the matte chalk polish. This is one of the Glitter Kisses in Copper Kiss. This is a luster polish. And I've also used the Sakura Jelly Roll green glitter gel pen on the hill as well. So lots of different Cosmic Shimmer products on that. And in that same video I wanted to show how you can snip off the main hair and just use that half moon piece twice to create a sort of circular element, and then you can just add the smaller hair on there if you want to, and then just using one of Francoise's new sentiments as well, and finishing off the edges of that with the Copper Kiss Glitter Kiss that I've used on the hair itself. So I hope you enjoyed this little impromptu up-close video just showing you some of these cards that I've made with the Edger dies. And as I said at the beginning, all of these have got videos, so there will be 6 videos using all of these Edger dies that will be up over the next few months on my channel as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay safe and I'll see you again soon. Bye!